Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a couple of giddy kids in love that love reacting to some Genshin Impact.
Aw, giddy kids this time.
Yeah. And so we're checking out another Collected Miscellany Triple Trailer Tuesday, people.
Woohoo!
So we got Lyney, Freminet, and Lynette, which I guess is Lyney and Freminet combined. It's the two of them.
Okay.
I don't know. These characters are all came out around the same time. So it's a interesting choice of naming them all.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you want all of our Genshin Impact reactions, check out the description of this video. We got a playlist there. And because it's Genshin Impact,
We have a drink.
Yeah.
It is Klee's Sparkling Bomb, and it's got pop rocks on the rim.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Magic is a kind of real illusion, and those few who excel at making illusions that shock and amaze will become renowned among magicians. From the performance posters adorning the opera houses of Fontaine to the hearty recommendations of hotel concierges
skipping
and
along.
conversations with citizens on the streets, it isn't difficult to guess who the title of most popular magician belongs to.
We'll be a traveling magic troupe.
Magic is not simply a
Look like he was singing his
stage
tongue out at
performance
us.
for Lyney. For the tricks of the trade have become a part of his everyday life. If you were to liken the battlefield to a stage, Lyney's bow and arrows would be his props,
Ooh,
while the talented
that cool
magician
bow.
himself creates surprises for anyone watching the show. Those who are keen observers are more familiar with their own blind spots. When Lyney is in the party, the location of items unique to Fontaine will appear on your minimap, making it easier to gather resources.
It's good.
Lyney's normal attack can combo up to 4 consecutive shots, dealing physical
Style
damage.
points.
Yeah, for sure.
With a charged attack, Lyney executes a more precise aimed shot that deals increased damage. The shot has different effects depending on how long the charging lasts.
Those
At
little
charge
kitties
level
coming out of his
1, Lyney fires off a
tip of his bow?
fused arrow that deals pyro damage.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't pick up on
At
that.
charge level 2, Lyney fires
Like
off
little
a
cat
pop
faces.
arrow that deals
There was a cat face that
pyro damage.
happened when he fired, though, yeah.
Yeah, see?
In the explosion, yeah.
A Grin-Malkin hat will be summoned. Grin-Malkin hats can taunt nearby opponents, causing them to attack the hat. Each opponent can only be taunted periodically. When a Grin-Malkin hat is destroyed, or its duration expires,
Explodes.
it will fire off a pyrotechnic strike at a nearby opponent, dealing
Nice.
pyro damage. Only one Grin-Malkin hat can exist at once. It inherits HP in proportion to Lyney's maximum HP. In addition, if Lyney's HP is higher than a certain threshold when he fires a prop arrow, Lyney will consume a portion of his own HP to obtain 1 prop surplus stack. The number of stacks is limited, and all stacks will be removed
Turns into a card,
once
okay.
Lyney stays out of combat for too long. Lyney's HP cannot fall below a certain threshold in this way. After unlocking the talent Perilous Performance, if Lyney consumes HP by firing off a prop arrow, the Grin-Malkin hat will restore a certain amount of elemental energy after it strikes an enemy, and will gain increased damage based on its attack. Prop arrows periodically call down Spirit Breath Thorns upon the location they hit, dealing Numa-aligned pyro damage. Using his elemental skill, Lyney does a flourish with his hat, unleashing a firework surprise. When a Grin-Malkin
Great,
hat
puts it back
created
up.
by Lyney is on the
He does have flair.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a
for sure.
magician,
will
so
cause it to explode violently,
It's gotta be
dealing
theatrical.
AoE pyro damage equivalent to a pyrotechnic strike. Damage dealt by the Grin-Malkin hat in this way is considered charged attack damage. When Lyney uses his elemental skill, all prop surplus stacks will be cleared,
robot spiders.
dealing AoE pyro damage to opponents.
They look like crabs. Oh, okay, there's the spider.
Damage will be increased based on the number of stacks cleared.
When the abdomen was
His
back,
HP
it
will
looked
be
like a crab.
regenerated
Yeah.
based on his max HP.
Let's get this show on the road.
Oh, cool.
Using his elemental burst, Lyney unleashes his magic, turning into a fast-moving Grin-Malkin cat. This is
Nice.
not to be confused with the Grin-Malkin hat. They're 2 different props.
Okay.
When the Grin-Malkin cat gets close to opponents, it will call down flames upon them, dealing up to 1 instance of pyro
That's
damage
fun.
to each opponent.
Yeah.
When the duration
little silly.
ends, Lyney will dismiss the Grinmalkin cat and ignite magnificent fireworks that deal AoE pyro damage, summon a Grinmalkin hat, and gain 1 prop surplus stack. Lyney can also deactivate Grinmalkin cat prematurely. A magnificent performance always leaves the audience yearning for an encore. If the applause is rapturous enough, the magician might even improvise a few new tricks on the spot. After unlocking the talent Conclusive Ovation, Lyney deals increased damage to opponents affected by Pyro. In addition, each Pyro party member other than Lyney will increase this damage bonus. The damage increase that can be gained in this way has a maximum limit. Only an actor who has mastered their skills and who can instantly adapt is worthy of being a maestro of magic, and Lyney is fully deserving of the title. In battle, prop arrows are Lyney's primary source of damage. By continually firing prop arrows, not only can Lyney summon Grinmalkin hats and fire off pyrotechnic strikes, he can also gain prop surplus stacks. By using his elemental skill to clear stacks at the right time, Lyney can deal even more damage to enemies. When energy is full, Lyney can transform into a Grinmalkin cat, moving agilely about the battlefield,
And bounce around.
getting close to enemies, and delivering a magnificent final performance under a shower of pyrotechnic magic. No one wishes to be
Pretty cool.
tricked.
Yeah.
But people still willingly take their seats to watch a magic show whose purpose is to deliberately deceive. Is it to lose themselves in a splendorous illusion, even for a short while? Or is it to see through the illusions and trickery? Either way, we need not pry too deeply. For regardless of how real the magic seems, it is but a performance.
That is a fancy poodle.
Just consider it a rare piece of entertainment in a world of
You get
fickle
Bucky that
fate.
outfit.
Is that not enough?
Yep, sticking his tongue out.
Lynette likes to dub herself the multifunction magic assistant,
got a
resulting
big
in a
bow in her
common
hair.
misconception that she represents a new frontier in Fontaine's technology. But everyone who sets out to prove the theory that she's a humanoid mecha comes to the same conclusion. Perhaps you shouldn't take everything a magician says on stage.
I was gonna ask if she was a magician too.
Is it time for a magic show?
Yeah, that is a very big bow.
Although an exceptionally keen perception isn't on the list of required skills for a magic assistant, it is what makes Lynette stand out from the crowd. With the help of her animo
What's with the star on the left
vision,
cheek?
she stealthily navigates different locations,
Oh,
gathering
cool.
intelligence and solving problems from the shadows. I heard that cats often give people the impression of being afraid of water. If that's the case, they should make full use of resources and complete any underwater tasks swiftly and safely. When Lynette is in the party, the locations of nearby revival orbs will be shown on the minimap. Underwater stamina and HP gained from touching the orbs will also be increased.
That's cool.
Fun.
Lynette's normal attack can combo up to 4 strikes, dealing physical damage
Whoa.
to enemies. Using her charged attack, Lynette consumes a certain amount of stamina and performs 2 swift slashes to her front, dealing physical damage.
So it's like,
By tapping on her elemental skill,
Okay, she is a
Lynette will
cat.
swiftly use
She's
an
got the little-
enigma thrust,
Little tail.
dealing
And the ears, too.
damage.
I was like, that's just part of her like,
Allows her
costume,
to enter a
or
high-speed pilfering shadow state and apply
That's
shadow
fun.
sign to a nearby opponent. Lynette can control her movement direction during this
enters
state.
like the dark
and
void.
can end it prematurely by using this skill again. When this high-speed state ends, Lynette will unleash her Enigma Thrust, dealing animo damage. If there is an opponent with Shadow Sign applied to them nearby, Lynette will flash to them before using Enigma Thrust. A maximum of 1 opponent can have Shadow Sign at any one time. When this opponent gets too far from Lynette, the Shadow Sign will be cancelled. In addition, when the Enigma Thrust hits an opponent, it will restore Lynette's HP based on her max HP, and for some time afterward, she will lose a certain amount of HP per second. At specific intervals, Lynette will unleash a surging blade when she uses Enigma Thrust, dealing Usia-aligned animo damage.
Be amazed!
When Lynette casts her elemental burst, she raises her mantle high, dealing AoE animo damage,
They all have
using
cat
skillful
cats.
sleight of hand to make a giant boggle cat box appear. The boggle cat box taunts nearby opponents, attracting their attacks, and deals animo damage to nearby opponents.
This seems to be like a new mechanism that they had in the game. I mean,
When the
I've noticed
boggle cat box comes into
a lot of the
contact
characters
with Hydro,
have that like
Cryo,
thing that they
or
summon that
Electro, it will
either
gain the
throws
corresponding
damage or
element, and additionally
lures them.
fire vivid shots that will deal damage from that element at intervals.
Yeah, that could be.
Mental absorption of this kind will only occur once during this ability's duration. After unlocking the talent Props Positively Prepped, after the Bogglecat box summoned by Lynette's Elemental Burst performs Elemental Absorption, damage dealt by her Elemental Burst will increase. This effect will persist until the Bogglecat box's duration ends.
Boggle cat box.
On the stage, Lynette is Lyney's magic assistant, but
Okay.
when she's anywhere else, she uses her clever tricks to help other companions as well.
We've seen them before
After
in
unlocking the talent Sophisticated Synergy, within a certain period after
another
Lynette
trailer.
uses her elemental burst,
Probably for
her
the season,
party
like-
member's attack will be increased based on the number of different elemental types in the party. The more elemental types there are, the greater the increase. Ever observant and supremely stealthy, Lynette is quick to adapt to the needs of the mission and the strengths of her teammates. In battle, Lynette uses her elemental skill to swiftly traverse the field, catching her opponents off guard with her Enigma Thrust. When energy is full, Lynette summons a Bogglecat box with a flick of her cloak. This creates ideal conditions for her teammates to work their magic with elemental reactions, leaving her enemies scratching their heads and wondering, how did she do that?
Kind of like her more than her master or whatever, the
It's
teacher.
easy to avoid drawing
Yeah,
attention,
and she's the
but
assistant?
it takes
I know, right?
extraordinary talent to stay hidden under the spotlight. Quick movements and silent footsteps. Even if you keep your eyes peeled, it may very well be impossible to track the target. Oh,
She freaking
you
loves
think that was
bows.
about Lynette? What if I was talking about a cat? I heard that Lynette is raising kittens at home. Perhaps even at this very moment, from a place you never thought to pay attention to, they're licking their fur and keeping a watchful
cool cat.
gaze on your every move.
She got cat spies.
Nice.
She's like a faunus.
If you need someone to help you with underwater work, you'll surely hear mentions of Freminet. Though he's one of Fontaine's best divers, he rarely shows his face. Those familiar with him would say that's because he spends most of his time beneath the waves. This makes for quite an awkward situation.
Fun.
You see, any diver talented enough to swim down and find him for a job
Oh,
might as
cool.
well do the job themselves.
At your command.
Freminet.
Though Freminet lacks confidence, he's actually more adept at completing missions than he gives himself credit for. As long as Pear is by his side, Freminet will wield his sword to protect his home, no matter how powerful the enemies may be.
Sort of looks like a
Even before
keyblade.
gaining his vision, to Freminet, diving had
It's not
become a
just like a
part of
key.
his everyday life. When Freminet is in the party, he will reduce the consumption rate of party members' aquatic stamina, making it easier to explore underwater.
Oh, we're going underwater with these this time.
Freminet's normal
Yeah.
attack can combo up to 4
guess that's the new region is the
strikes,
water
dealing
region.
physical damage.
Remember you said you really liked it?
His charged attack consumes stamina over time.
This is the first time I've seen the
to
characters.
perform continuous swirling attacks, finishing with an especially powerful slash.
I like that.
Nice.
Using his elemental skill, Freminet performs an upward thrust that deals
Pressurized
cryo
flow?
damage and enters pair timer for a period. While pair timer
Is
is
he kicking the shit out of some fat penguins?
Freminet's normal attacks
Yeah.
will cause the timer to increase the pressure level and
penguins?
release
Fat
waves
mechanical
of
penguins.
frost that deal cryo damage.
Just a mechanical penguin. It's probably an evil mechanical penguin.
Oh no, I think it's on his
These
side.
waves
Oh, it is on his
are
side.
considered
Okay.
It's his
elemental
timer.
skill damage.
Oh!
In
Nice.
addition,
Yeah.
while under the pair timer, Freminet's
pair
elemental
timer,
skill will turn into shattering pressure.
It's definitely more of a fat penguin than a pear.
Shattering
Okay.
pressure will execute different attacks based on pair timer's pressure level, and then cancel the timer. At level 0, shattering pressure will unleash a vertical cut that deals cryo damage. From levels 1 to 3, shattering pressure will unleash a vertical cut alongside pair to deal cryo and physical damage. The damage dealt will scale based on pressure level.
I like his big wind-up smash at the end.
Freminet will borrow the power of a fully pressurized pair to deal physical damage. At this time, Freminet's normal attacks will also be replaced by shattering pressure. At specific intervals, after performing the upward thrust, a Spirit Breath Thorn upward thrust will also be created, dealing Numa-aligned cryo damage.
Commencing cleanup!
With his elemental burst, Freminet unleashes a wave of cold that deals AoE cryo damage, resets the cooldown of his elemental skill, and causes him to enter the subnautical hunter mode for a period of time. In this mode,
I have entered the
Freminet's
subnautical hunter
interruption
mode.
resistance will increase, his elemental skill cooldown is decreased, and the damage of its normal attack frost waves is increased. In addition, while pair timer is also active, Freminet's normal attacks will give pair 1 additional pressure stack. These effects will be cancelled when Freminet leaves the field. After unlocking the talent Saturation...
This dude does not look like he would have that big-ass sword.
Pair timer has less than 4 levels of pressure. When pressurized flow shattering pressure is used, the cooldown of pressurized flow will be decreased. Freminet's efficiency at completing missions has gradually increased ever since he incorporated his knowledge of machinery into combat.
Happy
After
penguin.
unlocking the talent Parallel Condensers and triggering Shatter on an opponent, the damage of pressurized flow shattering pressure will be increased for a period of time. To Freminet, fighting in battle is not so different from operating clockwork mecha. In both cases, knowledge of general principles and communication of orders are crucial to resolving difficult problems. In battle, Freminet can easily adapt his combat style to the needs of the situation. With Pair by his side, Freminet can use his elemental skill to unleash shattering pressure on his opponents,
Look, he's
dealing
trying to kick
damage
him in the
based
back
on
of the head.
pressure level
He did.
of the pair
Dick.
timer.
I mean, that's why he's kicking their ass,
Energy
because
is
they're
full.
dicks.
Freminet can enter subnautical hunter mode, reducing the cooldown of his elemental
Still a
skill,
cool name, subnautical hunter
increasing
mode.
the pressure accumulation
Yeah.
rate of the pair timer. This will boost his damage output and allow him to finish his mission in a reliable manner. As long as you can still think for yourself, you'll realize that obeying orders is no easy task. Freminet likely knows this as well, or he wouldn't have tried to seal away his emotions, performing his tasks like a clockwork mecha and diving into the deep sea to empty his mind. Even so, Freminet is no mindless machine, and the people and things around him will continue to pull him back out of the sea. Perhaps one day, he will finally realize that orders are not delicious dishes presented to him on a silver platter, but rather frozen walls that are obstructing him from completing his final metamorphosis.
All right. It's tough for me to choose a favorite out of these because they're all like, I don't know, they're all similar in a sense. With what they can do, and we got 2 magicians in there. I need time to sort it out. What do you think? Exactly. Like, nobody stood out. Like, I didn't think anyone sucked.
No.
Like, there have been times where I'm just like, yeah, I definitely know that you're last.
I do know who's last. I just
Okay.
don't know who's first.
Who's last?
Lyney.
Lyney's last. Okay.
Yeah. Because Lynette should be the magician and he should be the assistant. So, for that reason, he's last.
Poor guy. I mean, it's not his fault.
He's not bad. Don't get me wrong. He's not bad. It's just Lynette was cooler.
She was.
But they emphasized so much that she was just the assistant. And I'm like, well, that's stupid.
They briefly talked about it. They didn't emphasize it. They weren't just like, from the get-go, Lynette, it's Lyney's sister or assistant, and she's just a pretty face. That's all she can do. They did not.
Yeah. They said it enough, though.
They should not.
They said it, and it was implied enough that I'm like, no, I don't like this. She should be the lead magician.
She was cool. I will say Lynette's over Lyney. And then if it's Freminet, Sharp said Target has bidet when he eats his fillet. Or Lynette. Yeah, I think you're right. Lynette. No. Lynette's my number one.
Okay.
That's my number one. So now is it Lyney or Freminet is number two? That's for me is tough. So who's your number one?
I mean, it was pretty neck and neck for me between Lynette and Freminet. I like Freminet's Fat Penguin. I like going underwater, like that. Just the world appeals to me, and feels new and unexplored as far as like the many characters that we've met. And he had some pretty cool names for his moves, like put subnautical in front of anything and it sounds cooler.
It's true.
I mean, you could be like, it's a subnautical potato. Suddenly the potato is cooler. I don't know why, it just is.
You have a subnautical rash. Well, it's not the worst of the rashes.
That one sounds pretty bad.
I'm just trying to think of something that's, it sounds cooler. I'm like, you can put it in front of anything. I'm like, all right, well, let me think of something that's not as cool. Like, potato is just, is nobody thinks of like anything bad with a potato, but like a rash, like, rash. So subnautical rash. Is it better than just a rash? I guess it's cooler.
No, I would say it's worse. It implies like a downstairs rash, and that just is worse. It's gonna be worse no matter what. It will automatically be worse.
True.
Now, maybe in terms of the world of rashes, it's a scarier, more intimidating rash, thus making it cooler. But I think we should have time on this topic.
The rails are all the way over there, and we are over here.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you started it.
I did start it, and now I'm ending it. So, okay, Lynette or Freminet?
Lynette.
Okay. I'm going to give some love to Lyney. I'm going to put Lynette, then Lyney, then Freminet.
What do you have against Freminet?
I have nothing against Freminet. I told you this is all very close. This is all very close, but I don't like subnautical rashes. And I'm afraid, I've heard that, and then they hang out with Freminet. It's a little bit too long. Gives you he turns into a subnautical rash. But also, I like Lyney. I feel like he was dismissed rather quickly just because Lynette was cooler.
True.
Lyney, I thought, had some good flair. I thought Lyney had more diversity. Like, I liked his moves more. Like, Freminet had the cool, like, sword. Like, yeah, like, he has penguin. Penguins are, I'm not knocking the penguin. But like, it seemed like he used, like, the same, like, little 4 combo, like, over and over again. And his other moves I just, like, forgot and, like, just was not impressed by. Whereas, like, Lynette had, like, the cat in the hat.
That was good.
And then he turned into a cat in a hat.
That was good. That jumped.
Yeah, that jumped and everything. So, yeah. So that's why I'm giving him my 2 slot.
I think that's fair. It's good to show him some love. I think with where I was at was just, it felt like redundancy. And so I'm like, well, between Lyney and Lynette, I choose Lynette. So that makes Lyney just redundant right now. He would have been better served, I think, being in a combination of characters that did not include Lynette, just because the two of them are so similar.
But they had to be back and back because they're,
I know, because they work together. So, like, I understand why he's here. Yeah. I'm just saying, if you were to put him in a different trio, he probably would have stood out more positively because he wouldn't have been competing with someone who's so similar for, like, the first spot.
Yeah, almost that would have been cool. Like, if they released the 2 characters and, like, only one of them was playable at first, and, like, you really want to play as the other character, it's like, oh, like, maybe Lyney was playable first, and you really want to play as Lynette, so it's like, oh, his apprentice is so cool. Like, it's too bad we don't get to play as the apprentice. And then later, like, they released, like, oh, now you get to play as Lynette as well.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Power levels, I don't know.
I think for me, on power levels, it's going to go Lynette, Lyney, Freminet.
I'm going to go Lyney because he's in charge. Lynette's just an apprentice. So she's number 2. Actually, no, she's number 3. She's just an apprentice. And then Freminet is number 2. Because he's got a penguin. The penguin puts him over someone that's just an apprentice. Have we said it enough times that it's just an apprentice? Anyways, before my wife murders me, let us know what you thought about this down below in the comments. And if you want all of our Genshin Impact reactions, check out the description of this video. We got a playlist there for you.
Yep.
And a link to Patreon. You can get early ad-free access to our videos.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for checking out our reaction for Genshin Impact Collected Miscellany, but just keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.